G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of Flashlight Crazy. Today, we're having a look at 6 different 14500s and we're going to find out which one's the best. Let's check them out. All right, so before we go into anything else, I'm just going to touch on the accessories. Now, all of these lights have basically the same accessories except for one. So when I say the same accessories, obviously they've all got chargers because they're all rechargeable 14500s. They all come with a spare O-ring, at least one. Some of them come with more than one. Some of them come with lanyards and some of them don't. They all come with user manuals, but one of them, in fact, the Lumintop, God bless it, it comes with a diffuser. So this is the only light out of the ones I've got here that actually comes with a diffuser. And I think it is such a brilliant additive to have on a 14500, particularly a high CRI, which this one is. So well done, Lumintop. This definitely sets you apart from the rest in terms of accessories. But apart from the diffuser, they all basically come with the same accessories. All right, now with that being said, we're gonna get rid of the boxes and take a look at these lights. All right, so as you can see here, one of these lights is standing out from the others. I'm sure you've already realized which one that is. It is the Nextorch TA15. So this is a 14500 light, but obviously, there is an emphasis on tactical self-defense style. It is the only 14500 here with glass-breaking beads. It is enormous compared to other 14500s. I mean, I love the size, but compared to the rest, it's enormous. And it has a tactical rotary switch, which I'll go over. But apart from that one, the rest of them are fairly similar in size. Now, I'm going to install all the batteries, but before I do, let's just go over them. So, the Nextorch comes with a 750 milliamp, 3.6 volt lithium ion 14500 rechargeable battery, and that is recharged using a micro USB, which you will slot right into there. The Lumintop comes with a 920 milliamp, 3.7 volt 14500 rechargeable lithium ion, and that will be recharged with a USB-C, not a micro USB. The Weltool comes with a 900 milliamp, 3.6 volt lithium ion rechargeable 14500, and that is also charged with your USB-C. The Acebeam comes with a 920 milliamp, 3.7 volt lithium ion rechargeable 14500, and again, USB-C charging. The Olight comes with a 1420 milliamp, 2.4 volt lithium ion rechargeable 14500 and USB-C charging as well. And finally, the Skilhunt. That comes with a 1050 milliamp, 3.6 volt 14500 rechargeable lithium ion battery. And again, USB-C charging. Okay, let's install the batteries. All right, here we go. So let's take a look at each one of these lights up close. We will start with the Skilhunt. So this is the Skilhunt E2A. It is a high CRI edition. Now, starting at the lens there, you do have a kind of textured lens, and it is a kind of TIR optic lens. So it doesn't offer much spill, but it does have a kind of floody hotspot. This one does have the my favorite color beam in it. It's just a beautiful, beautiful color beam. Now, looking over it here, it is a gorgeous size for a 14500. Very, very useful. Two-way pocket clip. Thank you very much. Tail standing, no worries at all. It has a reverse clicky. So the way you operate this light is you click on, and when you let go, the light will activate. And then you just half press to cycle through the modes. It has 3 modes, low, medium, and high. It is IPX8 water rated, so that's 2 meters water submersibility, and it is 1 meter drop resistant. Now, the run times and outputs for the Skilhunt E2A are as follows. Your lowest output there is 15 lumens, which will last for 25 hours. Half press steps up to your medium mode, which is 120 lumens, which will last for 200 minutes. And half press again is your high mode, which is 600 lumens, which will last for a minute. Then it'll drop down to 260 lumens for an additional 80 minutes. really, really decent run times, I think. And again, beautiful warm colored light, really nice warm colored light. Now on high mode, the Skilhunt is spec'd to reach 128 meters. So all in all, very, very useful light, gorgeous color. I do think it lacks a little bit in the spill area when compared to the rest of these lights out in the yard. The Skilhunt was the one that only really offers you a kind of milky, floody hotspot, whereas the rest of them have more of a wide beam, or they are a hotspot and flood, and spill, sorry. So love the color beam, love the fact that it tail stands, love the two-way pocket clip, and love the size. My God, what a bloody brilliant size. Made very, very well, very tough, but, you know, does lack a little bit in the spectrum that you get of light. You know, I'd like to see a bit more broader light. So this would probably do you better for, you know, the closer tasks, just because it's not going to give you a very broad spectrum of light. All right, moving on. The Olight i5R in the High CRI edition. So just taking a look at this one, it is your typical Olight, very, very gorgeous, of course. The blue is spectacular. You've got the two-way pocket clip as well. Very important, I believe. You've got the nice swirl patterns here. Just a really nice light. No tail standing, unfortunately, which kind of sucks. I do like tail standing in something as small as this, just because, you know, it's your backup light. And, you know, if you want to just turn it on and turn it upside down and have some light in the room or in a tent or something like that, then I think it's important for a 14500 to be able to tail stand. But again, this is just my opinion, guys. So, you know, if you don't agree with me, that's totally cool. Now, the UI and runtime for the Olight are to be expected. Very, very similar to the standard i5R. So every time you turn it on, it will come on in low mode. Oh, I forgot to say, I do apologize. The Skilhunt has memory mode. So whatever you turn it off in, it will come back on in if you leave it off for, I think, over 2 seconds. And then you turn it back on, it comes on in that. I apologize. Back to the Olight. So the Olight will always turn on in low mode. Low mode is 12 lumens, and you'll get that for 37 hours. Then a quick on-off gives you high mode. That is 285 lumens, which you'll get for 10 minutes. Then it will drop down to 122 lumens for an additional 170 minutes. The distance spec'd for this light on high is 58 meters. Now, this is also 2 meter water resistant, but it is 1.5 meter drop resistant, so half a meter higher than the Skilhunt. Now, as these are both high CRIs, let's just have a look at what they can offer. I definitely love the beam on the Skilhunt a lot more than the Olight. It's just a nice, you know, almost, I don't know, what is it, pinky color or something? Really, really gorgeous. All right, moving on to the Acebeam Pokelit Grey. Now, this is a brilliant, brilliant light. The build quality is amazing, just like all of these, to be honest. Two-way pocket clip, thank you very much. One issue I do have with this is that the pocket clip ends on this little opening bit here, like the heat sinks. And because of that, it does tend to get caught in your pants when you put it in and pull it out. Kind of annoying, but not a deal breaker, just kind of annoying. Now, no tail standing, unfortunately, but two-way pocket clip, which is great. I do think that 14500s are so much more useful when they have a two-way pocket clip, just because these are the kind of lights that I love attaching to my hat and going hands-free. They're very light. You barely know they're on your hat. Very, very useful. And, you know, without having to strap something around your head, you can just go plonk, stick it on your hat, and you're good to go. So for that reason, I do wish that, you know, all 14500s had two-way pocket clips, to be honest. Now, the UI and run times of the Acebeam Pokelit are as follows. So this one, the grey version, is a beast when it comes to output. There is another high CRI version, which is just the standard Pokelit. This is the grey version, very, very different. Now, this is not high CRI. So as you can see there, it doesn't have a warm coloured LED, but this has an amazing output on high. Now, to start off, this does have memory mode. So same as the Skilhunt, it will come on in the last output. So the output I last had it in was medium. So let's get it to low. Okay, so low mode there is 5 lumens, great low mode, and you'll get that for 58 hours. Now, off and on quickly, You'll get medium mode, which is 330 lumens. You'll get that for 1 hour and 50 minutes straight. Now, high mode, that's 1,000 lumens coming out of this. And you're gonna get that for 35 seconds straight. After 35 seconds, this light will drop down to 600 lumens, still a brilliant output for a 14500, and that output will last for 49 minutes before the light shuts off. Now on high mode, on your 1,000 lumen output, this will reach 105 meters. It is spec'd to reach 105 meters. The Acebeam Pokelit Grey is spec'd to water resistant 2 meters and drop resistance 1.5 meters. So very well made, very gorgeous, and, you know, ticks 9 out of 10 of the boxes, I reckon. If it had tail standing, then, you know, maybe 10 out of 10. All right, moving on. Here we have the Welltool T1 Pro. This is a very impressive light. It is a 14500 that acts better than some 18650s. And what I mean by that is it has a brilliant hotspot and beam, and it has a gorgeous spill area. I mean, that rivals some friggin' 18650s, and it's coming out of this. So absolutely amazing. Now, it does not have tail standing. It does not have a two-way pocket clip. That being said, you can pull the pocket clip off and attach it here going backwards. So even though it doesn't have a two-way pocket clip, you can reverse the pocket clip. I know that's annoying. It definitely is annoying, but it can at least act as a two-way pocket clip if you need it to. It will take, you know, an extra couple of seconds to pull it off and attach it, and then, you know, pull it off again and attach it back when you want to get it back into normal, you know, lens down carry. But at least it's got that option. Now down here, you'll see it's LED and smooth reflector there. Again, rivals some 18650s, this thing. And one really cool thing about this as well is you can buy an extension tube and turn it into a 2x 14500 light, so just extending the length of it. Now, the UI and outputs are as follows for the Welltool T1 Pro. So this will always come on in medium mode, every time. And medium mode is 365 lumens, which you'll get for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Now, if I off and on quickly, you'll get high mode. High mode is 540 lumens, which you'll get for 38 minutes. But then low mode is hidden. So this does kind of double as a tactical light because it comes on in your medium mode, which is, you know, fairly blinding. If you want low mode, it's the same as several other Welltool products or Welltool models. You need to hit the tail switch 4 times and then click on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, click. That's your low mode there. And your low mode is 86 lumens, which you'll get for 8.5 hours. So again, decent run times. I know that, you know, the Olight, for example, you'll have low mode for 37 hours. Even the Acebeam, you get 5 lumens for 58 hours. But this is this is not a typical 14500. It is more on the tactical side. It is more designed for longer distances. And let me tell you guys, the max distance on this light on high is 290 meters. Again, rivaling 18650s. So cut it some slack. It is a 14500 that is designed for longer distances. It is not designed for, you know, really up close tasks. However, 1, 2, 3, 4 on, you can still use the 86 lumens for up close tasks because this is not really a cool white light. It's, I think, 5,700 kelvins. So it does just fall in the category of neutral. And because of that, up close tasks are very, very easy on the eyes. And yeah, don't blind you when you're looking at something very close. Now, this is IP67 rated water submersibility. So I believe that is, it can be used in very heavy rain and maybe slightly submerged, but I wouldn't be submerging it for long or very deep either. But it is 1 meter drop resistant as well. Although, to be honest, it feels like a tank could roll over this and it would be fine. So I don't know where they get those specs from, because this feels like the toughest light out of all of these, to be honest. It's just, the build quality is just impeccable. All right, moving on. Here we have the Lumintop Tool AA. Now, right off the bat, I'm just going to tell you a massive negative about this light. It may not be a negative for everyone, but for me it is. I hate the fact that it does that when the battery's installed. See the tail cap lights up? I hate it. That has to be draining the battery. And even if it's only draining it a little bit, why I just don't like it. Why should I have to turn the tail cap every single time I don't want this light to be engaged so I don't waste the battery, and then have to remember, oh, turn it back on. I mean, even in my pocket, if I'm using this as a backup light in my pocket, I'm going to have it already wasting the battery. So then what if it's in my pocket for 3 or 4 hours and then I go to use it thinking I'm going to get the designated run times and the run times are only half because it's been wasting the battery for this? What's the point in that? Anyway, rant over. I just had to get the negative out of the way. Now let's look at the positives. Well, firstly, it's a gorgeous high CRI light. I love that. Beautiful, beautiful lens and LED down there. The build quality is okay. It doesn't match up to any of these others, to be honest. So it's a lot lighter and it feels a little bit more flimsy than the rest of them. But not crappy, just when compared to other things, it does feel like the build quality that, they've how should I put it? They have redirected their expenses away from build quality and perhaps towards other things that are good. So that's how I'll put it, because the Skilhunt, for example, feels friggin' strong in quality, and the Lumintop feels quality, but then when you pick up something else, you're like, oh, wait, maybe that's what quality should feel like. So hard to explain without touching them, but if you pick this up and then you pick a Well tool up or an Acebeam or an Olight or whatever, Nextorch, you will be shocked. You'll be like, oh shit, hang on. There's a difference in weight, in feel. It just feels like it would break easier. But apart from that, it's got a gorgeous, gorgeous beam. As I said, really nice specs, great run times. It does not have a two-way pocket clip, but it can be reversed again. So similar to the Well tool, you just need to undo the pocket clip and attach it here backwards so you can stick it on your hat. But it does tail stand, unlike the Well tool. So surprising to see 6 14500s here and only 2 of them tail stand. Interesting. Now the specs, UI and runtimes for the Lumintop, it does have memory mode, so let's get it to low. Now low is 16 lumens, which you'll get for 37 hours. And that's a gorgeous, gorgeous beam. Let's just check that with the Skilhunt. Yeah, so warm light here, but the Skilhunt's got this, I don't know what to call it. It's like, it's got like a pink tinge to it, and I really, really like it. But yeah, very nice warm light the Lumintop is. So yeah, low mode, 1600 lumens, 37 hours. Now, half press gets you to medium mode. That's 85 lumens, which you'll get for 6 hours. Half press again, that's high mode. That's 360 lumens, which you'll get for 1 hour and 20 minutes. And then half press again, that is turbo mode. That's 650 lumens, which you'll get for 33 minutes. Now, the max distance on the Lumintop is 127 meters. But this has a hidden strobe. So not that you'd really use a strobe, especially with a warm light, but it does have a hidden strobe. So you have to go through the cycle twice very quickly to activate strobe. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, and then on. There's your strobe. Now your strobe is 360 lumens, but it doesn't tell you how long you'll get it for. Cool additive, I guess, but I wouldn't use it. I don't know many people who would. Now, Lumintop says that this is 2 meter water submersibility, but it doesn't give an impact distance. So judging by the feel, honestly, you wouldn't want to drop this more than about half a meter, I reckon. But, let's give it a meter. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt and say a meter. But this would be the one I'd be worried about if I dropped it higher than, half a meter to a meter, definitely. All right, and last but not least, we've got the Nextorch TA15. Now, as you can see, this thing's a beast. So I will do the measurements and weights and all that, but this thing is a beast. Have a look at it. Now, when it comes to, this thing has tactical in mind, absolutely. It's Nextorch are very good at their tactical lights, and this one is no exception. It's got your glass breaking beads on the bezel there. Let's have a look at those. There we go. Beautiful LED down in that smooth reflector there. Now, this light can also house a 16340 battery as well as a 14500. And it has a really interesting UI. But before I go over the UI, I just want to tell you that the machining and finish on this, it rivals Well tool. It really does. So in my opinion and my observation, Well tool has some of the best machining I've ever seen in lights. just the quality is impeccable. And it is very, very consistent. And then I was introduced to Nextorch, and I have to say, Nextorch is the same. It has consistent, impeccable machining and finishing, and it just feels incredibly quality. It's just insane how good this feels. Now, some downsides. You cannot move the pocket clip, and it cannot you cannot have an option for sticking it on your hat. So this is not a reversible pocket clip, and you cannot reverse it. That kind of sucks. In addition to that, you cannot tail stand it. So again, this is designed as a tactical light, and it would work brilliantly as a tactical light. So I have no issues with its tactical capabilities, but when it comes to other abilities like practicality, it's not amazing in that category. Now, the UI and outputs are as follows for the Nextorch TA15. So we have this rotary switch here, and right now you can see it's on tactical. So tactical offers a half press for turbo and then a full press for strobe. Now, if I turn the light just once, it gives you your lowest output, which is 35 lumens, and that will last for 2 hours and 15 minutes. If I turn it again, it gives you your medium mode, which is 205 lumens, which will last for an hour and a half. And if I turn it again, it's your high mode, which is 700 lumens, which will last for 30 minutes. Now, look at that. Absolutely brilliant. Let's just get that back down to low because low mode is actually a very, very useful practical light. Now, this does have the lowest run times of them all. So the low mode on Well Tool is 8.5 hours. The low mode on the Lumintop is 37 hours. The low mode on Acebeam is 58 hours. The low mode on Olight is 37 hours. And the low mode on Skilhunt is 25 hours. Low mode on this, 2 hours and 15 minutes. So in terms of practicality for that, not winning any gold medals at all. But it is winning in its performance with the LED and with your outputs as well. And I honestly think it's winning in UI because the UI for this is so nice that you can have it on low mode and then hit the tail switch and get to turbo. And then as soon as you let go, comes back down to low mode. So definitely designed for tactical abilities, which if anyone knows me, they know that I love that. So really, really nice light. Now on high mode, this light will reach 195 meters. And it is 2 meters drop resistant and 2 meters water submersible. Okay, let's do some comparisons. So let's get that on high and we'll get the Olight on high. So there you've got some beam comparisons there. Both high CRI, although I definitely love the Skilhunt. So this is the Skilhunt and the Olight. And I think the Skilhunt beam color is just incredible. And let's do the Lumintop. So there's the Lumintop and the Skilhunt, actually very similar in color beams. I thought they were a bit different up again on the mat, but very similar on the wall, which is really cool. All right, so now that's the high CRIs. Let's do Well Tool and Acebeam. So look at the difference in the beam profile there. Enormous hotspot on the Acebeam. And the Well Tool tight hotspot with plenty of spill. So how's that for a stark difference? Now Acebeam is a bit cooler in the color temperature than the Well Tool. But let's do the Nextorch, get them both on high. So these two are the most similar in beam profiles. Cool white over here, neutral white over here. And you've got hotspot and spill for both of them. So really, really cool lights. And they both offer a low mode, so you can use it up close. All right, let's do some measurements and some weights. All right, so the length of the Skilhunt E2A is 8.9 centimeters. Absolutely brilliant. The length of the Olight i5R is 9.5 centimeters, and that's from that's to end of tail clicky. The Acebeam Pokelit comes in at 9 centimeters, and that is to end of tail clicky as well. The Well tool comes in to 9.5 centimeters, end of tail clicky as well. And the Lumintop comes in at 8.7 centimeters. So just taller than the Skilhunt. What was the Skilhunt again? 8.3 or 4 centimeters. And the Nextorch is going to smash the size here. That is 12.5 centimeters. Now, all of these lights have their pocket clips and their batteries installed. So the Skilhunt comes in at 50.12 grams. The Olight, 60.15 grams. The Acebeam, 56.97, call it 57. The Well tool, 62.24. The Lumintop, 44.67. Just check that with the Skilhunt, 50. Yeah, so the Lumintop is definitely the lightest. And the Nextorch is 115.9. So definitely the heaviest. All right, let's go outside. Let's see how these lights do. And then we'll come back with a rating system to see which one of these lights has actually won, in my opinion, the best 14500 light. All right, see you in a sec. All right, kicking things off with the Olight. And that is on low. Pretty decent. Pretty decent. Especially up close. Not great. I mean, the fence, that fence there is 3 meters away and it's pretty dim. But if I off and on, now high. And high's great. High's great. Works well. I do wish there was a middle mode between low and high, because, you know, your options are either this or this. So, you know, it would be nice if there was a medium mode. But not to worry. All right, now the Lumintop, that's on low. Nice distinct hotspot. No spill as of yet, but as a step up, the spill really comes into it. Beautiful mixed beam. Gorgeous mixed beam this. Really nice CRI as well. 90 plus easy. And that's the next step up. Really showing you what it can do here. And full step up. Lovely color. Nice and warm. Gorgeous spill. All right. Now the Skilhunt. And that is on the lowest output. Look at that. Skilhunt's probably got my favorite beam color. It's just beautiful. And there's the step up. And again, look at that, it's just beautiful. More of a just hotspot, no real spill. So just a large, kind of shadowy hotspot. Not a distinct hotspot, very large though. And that's high. And even then, you've just got the hotspot really, but you've got the light that falls around it. But no hotspot and spill beam. This is more of just a floody hotspot, I'll call it. floody hotspot. All right, the Acebeam. There's the lowest output there. Now you can see the difference in the color rendering because this is cool white and absolutely no color rendering at all, whereas the others were. There's the step up. Jeez, it's so impressive, this light, and that's just on medium. Look at the distinct hotspot and the spill. This light comes with it all, except for color rendering. This light comes with it all. Wow. Insane amount of light for a 14500. The brightest out of the lot, this is, without a doubt. All right, the well tool, and I'll get it on low first. So that's low. Got to do the 4 clicks. Still got some spill on low. What a beam profile for a 14500. Tight hotspot, spill. You would not think this is coming out of a 14500. Looks like I'm gonna need more room to show you this actually. Now that's on medium. It's just amazing, this light. And that's high. Very distinct hotspot. I think 5,700 kelvins. So in between neutral and cool. Or the high end of neutral. But just a brilliant light. Just a brilliant, brilliant light. Obviously this is not doing the distance any justice, but still very useful in a close area as well. Very useful. And last but not least, the Nextorch. Now that is proper cool light, I believe. That's on the lowest output. And that's the next one. And the highest, 700. It's very bright. Very, very bright for a 14500. Second brightest in the lot. Acebeam would easily be the brightest. There it is. All right, so brilliant, brilliant performers, all in their own ways. It definitely depends on what you're looking for, okay? So I'm going to bring out my rating system, and I am going to just mention off the bat that this is my opinion. So I'm sure people are going to disagree with me, and that's totally cool. But for me, this rating system is how I chose each of these lights in their performance and everything like that. So let's get to it. All right, so I apologize for all the mistakes and whiteout and everything like that, but it was hard for me to actually really be as honest as I possibly could. So let's go over it. And in fact, I'll just fold this bit over because this bit's something else that I'll get to. So, okay, with the Olight, so the categories, so the categories are design and feel, build quality, performance, runtime, output, UI, and self-defense aspect, and then a total. So with the Olight, I gave it a 9 for design and feel because it doesn't tail stand. I gave it a 9 for build quality. I gave it a 9 for performance, runtime, and output, only because I wish it had another output like a medium mode. That would have been nice. In UI, I gave it a 9 as well because there's no Firefly or low mode. So same with the performance and runtime. And self-defense aspect, I gave it a 1 and I said you might be able to throw it at someone. So that adds up to a total of 37 points, 37 out of 50. Now the Acebeam, I gave it an 8 for design and feel because the clip does get caught and it doesn't tail stand. I gave it a 9 for build quality, and I just made mention that the tail switch is a little bit rigid for my liking. I gave it a 10 for performance, runtime, and output because I think that all of those things, it ticks every single box. I gave it a 9 for UI because of its memory mode. I think that no memory mode is better in a 14500. I really do. And I gave it a 7 for self-defense because of how friggin' bright turbo is. But I only gave it a 7 because you've got to remember to have it on in turbo and it doesn't have any ability to strike anyone. So that all adds up to 43 points, 43 out of 50. Now the Skilhunt, I gave it a 10 for design and feel. I just think it is absolutely brilliant. It's the only one I gave a 10 out of design and feel. It's got your tail standing, it's got your two-way pocket clip, it feels quality. It's very, very small, nice and light, absolutely brilliant, couldn't fault it. Build quality, I gave it a 9. Performance, runtime, and output, I gave it an 8. Reason for that is, as you saw in the night shots, it only really has a hotspot, and that hotspot is a floody hotspot, but it's only a hotspot. It doesn't offer a very wide area of light, and because of that, I had to give it an 8. UI, I gave it a 9 because of memory mode. If it had no memory mode, probably would have given it a 10. And self-defense, I gave it a 1 because, again, you could probably throw it at someone. So that all adds up to 37. Sorry about all the mistakes, guys. So yeah, that adds up to 37. Now, the Well tool, I gave it an 8 for design and feel because it doesn't tail stand and because of the two-way pocket clip. Again, I know you can reverse it, but that is annoying, so that's why I gave it an 8. Build quality, I gave it a 10. It's just impeccable. Well tool build quality deserves a 10 every time. Performance, runtime, and output, I gave it a 10. Reason being is that it doesn't have memory mode. You know what it's going to come on every time, and its outputs and runtimes are very, very generous. UI, I also gave it a 10 because I love the fact that you have to click it 4 times to get into low mode. I think that's awesome. And apart from that, it's always going to come on in medium mode, and then a double tap will get you to turbo. So really, really nice to see, very clear and decisive on how you get to each output. Self-defense, I gave it a 9 because it is very, very bright and very, very distracting. The reason I didn't give it a 10 is because it doesn't start in turbo, and I also didn't give it a 10 for that because you cannot strike with it. But a 9 is very generous, I believe. Now, those all add up to 47. Now, the Lumintop, I gave it a 7 out of 10 for design and feel. Reason being is that tail cap light. I just can't get over that bloody tail cap light. And of course, no two-way pocket clip as well. I know you can reverse it, but still annoying. So that gets a 7. Build quality, I gave it an 8. I think that's generous for the build quality. I really do. But it just doesn't feel like the rest of them. Performance, runtime, and output, it deserved a 10, to be honest. It's got brilliant performance, brilliant beam profile, nice equal outputs as well. So very, very happy with the amount of outputs and the distance between each output. UI, I gave it a 9 because it does have memory mode. Kind of wish it didn't. And self-defense, it gets a 1 because, again, you could probably throw it at someone. So for that, it has a 35 out of 50. Now the Nextorch. Now Nextorch gets a 9 for design and feel. The reason why it gets a 9 is because it doesn't have a two-way pocket clip. It doesn't tail stand, but it does have your glass breaking beads. And I think that that's a massive, massive bonus in any light, whether it's a 14500, 18650, 21700, doesn't matter. Having glass breaking beads on a light doesn't take much to put them on a bezel, and it is so cool, and you never know when you might need them. So for that reason, it got a 9 instead of an 8 for not having both of those. Build quality gets a 10. Same as Well Tool, friggin' brilliant. Can't fault it. Performance, runtime, and output. Well, it gets an 8 because its performance is amazing, but its runtime, not so much. So for that, it gets an 8, and I still think I've been generous with that. UI gets a 10. Absolutely brilliant UI. Rotary switch, straight to low. You can turbo, strobe. It's just very, very clever UI, and I love it. So it gets a 10. And self-defense aspect gets a 10 as well. You can hit someone with it. You can break in or out of glass. You can blind someone with it. What more could you want? So definitely gets a 10 for that. And that is 47 as well. So the totals are Olight 37 out of 50, Acebeam 43 out of 50, Skilhunt 37 out of 50, Well Tool 47 out of 50, Lumintop 35 out of 50, and Nextorch 47 out of 50. But wait. So I understand that self-defense aspect is important to me, but that it may not be important to everyone. So what I wanted to do was give some totals of each light without the self-defense category in it, okay? So without the self-defense category, the Olight comes in at 36 out of 40. The Acebeam comes in at 36 out of 40. The Skilhunt comes in at 36 out of 40. The Well Tool comes in at 38 out of 40. The Lumintop comes in at 34 out of 40, and the Nextorch comes in at 37 out of 40. So they are your totals without the category of self-defense, because I wanted to be fair and I wanted to include those of you who really don't give a shit about self-defense, especially in a 14500, which is totally fair enough. For me, it matters, but I get that a lot of you just will not care, and you might think that that category is ridiculous. And for that reason, I wanted to include just a total score without that. So there you have it, guys. There is the 6 really brilliant 14500s. Depending on what you want them for will depend on whether or not you choose one or which one you choose. For me, these two are my favorite, without a doubt. But I'm going to throw in the Skilhunt as well because of its color beam. I absolutely love the color beam. Now, if I have to choose just one of these lights and nothing else, it would be the Nextorch, without a doubt. It's a very, very close call between the Nextorch and the Well Tool, but just because of its size and self-defense capabilities, the Nextorch would be my choice. However, I might regret that choice when the Nextorch runs out in an hour and a half. So that could be an issue. I would definitely be bringing spare 14500s to put in this light because the run times are pretty shit. Skilhunt is definitely up there for me because of its beautiful color beam. And probably the most practical light out of them all, in my opinion, just for, sticking on your hat and size and everything like that. But because I am who I am and I need a light to act as a self-defense light as well, then the Well Tool and Nextorch are my top 2 picks. But again, Skilhunt would be my pick for around the house, definitely. So actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's say my number 1 pick for outside of home would be the Nextorch or the Well Tool, or the Acebeam, to be honest. But let's just say Nextorch because I've got to pick one. And my number 1 pick for inside the house would be the Skilhunt, 100% without a doubt. All right, I think that's fair. All right, well, thanks very much for joining me on this long review. I'm sorry it was so long, but had to get through a fair few of them. You can get all of these lights except for the Nextorch and the Acebeam at the moment. You can get these 4 lights at lightshop.com.au, and I will link each one of them. These 2 lights, I will link Nextorch to pick this up at Nextorch, and the Acebeam, I will link at Acebeam as well, but as soon as it becomes available at Lightshop, I will link it at Lightshop as well. All right, that's it for me today. Thanks very much for watching, and until next time, stay cool and stay safe. See ya.